Hey team, welcome to another video. We are finally at patch 6.1, and for me, this is one I've been waiting for a long time because of Ishgard Housing. Though because of the size of this patch, I'm not going to go through everything line by line. It's an hour-long video. In fact, I already recorded that video, and it is immensely boring. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to cover the major things, the new things, the big changes. So let's get into it.
Crushing Defeat Media.
We've got our new main scenario, which is going to bridge everything Hydaelyn Zodiark over to what comes next. So I'm very excited to see what happens next in the story. You're going to go to the Rising Stones in order to start the next series of main scenario quests. There's Chronicles of a New Era quests that have been added. You can go to Old Charlan and talk to the fresh-faced student for that. New role quests have been added. You're going to go to Radzat and talk to Shirabat to get into that. One big quality of life change that I'm excited about is when you are in an instanced battle where you're playing as someone else, like the Thancred sneak mission, you're now going to be able to reassign on your hotbar where those actions are. I was always stuck, and I'm sure you were probably in the same, using either my mouse click, or if you're playing controller, maybe they weren't in the right spot. So it always made those battles extra challenging because you're having to play differently than you normally did. You're not going to be able to move those around, which I think is a great quality of life change. You're now going to see character portraits for battle dialogue in quests 5.x and forward. So I think this means when they're talking during battles and the text pops up, you're going to see little portraits. I don't know if that means it's going to be in the chat box or on the screen. It'll be interesting to see how this works, but character portraits for battle dialogue and instance quest battles prior to 5.0 will be implemented in a future update. The report area for levy will now be displayed in the information section of the levy's journal entry. You're going to see a lot of this type of change throughout this patch. Square Enix Final Fantasy is going to start telling you more about where to catch that fish, where to find that item, what the requirements are. So instead of having to look things up so much, you're going to see entries will now display the method of fishing required. The area where the desired catch can be found will be displayed next to the location. Selecting map will display the catch's approximate location, and once it's been caught, the levy report area will display instead. So a lot of these types of changes where the game, you may have noticed, whether it's crafting or gathering, is slowly but surely taking out the requirement to do a bunch of extra research and providing that information in-game, which I think is great. New Bicolor gemstones. I know that's a normal thing, new Bicolor gemstone items, but that's always a great way to make gil, is to be one of the first to put those things on the market board, so I did want to bring that up. There's quite a few animation changes in here that I'm interested in. One is decipher, so when you decipher the map, it's going to look different. Looks a lot cooler on the screen than just kind of the generic. There's some other gathering animation changes that you'll notice. Observe, for example, is different. The powerful hook set and precision hook set for Fisher will be different. So keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be quite a few animation changes in the game. All right, the big change in this patch, to me, the most important one for me, and probably for a lot of you, is the housing changes. We are finally getting Ishgard Housing a la the Empyreum, and plots of land in the Empyreum can now be purchased via the lottery system. I'm going to try to be, I guess, as succinct as I can about this. Number one, it's going to be lottery across the board. Old housing areas, new housing areas, it's all lottery. There will be, at least for now, no more first come, first serve, okay? There's actually a special site that they've added just for these changes. Another important piece, wards will be separated by plots available for purchase by free company and plots available for purchase by private owners. It gets a little confusing because on here it says housing areas are divided into plots available for purchase by either free companies or private buyers, and the plot's usage is restricted accordingly. But if I go back to the main patch notes, it says right here, every housing district will now have dedicated wards for private and free company estates. So some wards will be free companies, some wards will be private. Another big change is the retirement of the price reduction system. The plot price is the plot price is the plot price from now on. There will be no more decrease in value over time. It'll stay the same. And instead of getting 30% of the lowest price that plot could ever go for, when you relinquish a plot of land, you're going to get 15% back of that price, full stop, right? So if it's 100 million gil plot of land, you're going to get 15 million gil back when you relinquish that. Simple, much cleaner. Let's talk about the lottery. To purchase land via the lottery system, players must submit a lottery entry for their desired plot during the predetermined period of time. There is a lot of words in this part. Let me see if I can simplify it. It's a 9-day continuous cycle. And again, all housing plots will go through this, other than apartments, because you just buy apartments, or free company rooms, you just buy those. But any of the actual plots of land are going to go through this 9-day cycle. 5 days of lottery ticket purchasing time and 4 days of resolve time. So during the 5 days, you can go in and buy a lottery ticket for a plot of land that you like. And then after that, the next 4 days, players have an opportunity to, if you lost the lottery, get that money back, and you will actually have to grab that money back. Or if you win the lottery, to claim the plot. If you don't claim the plot or you don't grab the money back, you lose out on some of that money or all of that money. So rule of thumb, if you put in a lottery ticket, make sure that during that 4-day resolve period, you will be in game at least once to get that gil back. Otherwise, you're gonna lose half or all of it, right? So just know to go back and get that gil. I would hate for anyone to lose out on millions of gil because they forgot about that part. All right, every player gets one lottery ticket. One lottery ticket, that's it. Doesn't matter if it's free company, doesn't matter if it's a private estate. During that 5-day period, you can get one lottery ticket, which I think is smart. That way, people with billions of gil can't go in and buy a bunch of lottery tickets and guarantee that they're going to get a plot. Every player gets one ticket, doesn't matter which type, during that 5-day period. Entering as a private buyer, here are some requirements. If you're going to buy a private house, you need to have at least one job at level 50, and you must be second lieutenant in your grand company. If you're a free company representative, it's a little bit more complex. One, your free company's got to be 6 or above in rank. Your free company must have 4 or more players, and you must be authorized by your free company to purchase and relinquish land, and you must have been a member of that free company for 30 days or longer. This is a new requirement in 6.1. Let me see if I can break this down. So we get it, free company's got to be this rank, that rank, whatever. Let's say your free company only has 3 members. You can grab a new member, but they wouldn't be able to enter the lottery. You can grab a new member, and if the other 3 members have been in the free company for a month or more and have the requisite ability to put in for lottery tickets, they can all go put in for one lottery ticket. So let's say there's 100 people in the free company, and all 100 people in the free company have a lot of gil. All 100 of those could go each buy a lottery ticket for a plot of land, highly increasing the chances of getting that plot of land. So this is the one way where big free companies have an advantage, where they could potentially kind of game and guarantee, or more guarantee, that they're going to get that plot of land because the lottery is drawn at random. This is the only kind of area where that exists. All right, so how do I get a lottery ticket? Super simple. You go to the plot that you want and you say, I want this. And then you give them the amount of gil that plot costs. And now you are entered into the lottery. And once you are entered into the lottery, it cannot be withdrawn. You can see the details of all this in the housing tab. So you'll be able to go into the housing tab and see what you've got your ticket on. And then once the results happen, you can go in and see if you've won. Some of us may never see this depending on how well this lottery system goes, but this on the screen is what a winning lottery message looks like. When you win the lottery, you must finalize your purchase. I talked about this a little bit already. If you're relocating, you're going to get 15% of what the old plot cost is. Housing plots will retain their value. One thing I think that's important, you can talk to the resident caretaker in any housing area to talk about relocation. Make sure if you're interested in housing that you go into your housing. It's either in the placard or in the housing menu, but make sure you're eligible for relocation. You can only have a certain amount of items stored and out in your house and around your house to be able to relocate. So make sure that if you are interested in the lottery and all this, that you meet those requirements. And this is where I'm talking about you could lose a lot of money if you're not paying attention. You may finalize your purchase of a plot of land at any time during the results period, those 4 days. However, should you fail to claim your plot of land during the results period, despite having won the lottery, your claim will be forfeit. So if you can't get into the game in those 4 days, which is completely fair, like if you're the winner of the lottery, you need to get in there and claim that. That is so unfair to all the other people who were dying to get that plot, and you can't even be bothered to log in and claim it. So if you don't do that during that 4 days, not only do you lose the plot, but 50% of the gil that you put into it gone. So if you lose the lottery, you have a lot more time. You have 90 days after the results period ends to accept that refund. So obviously, if you lose the lottery, they're going to be a lot kinder to you. I'm so sorry you lost the lottery. You've got 90 days to claim your gil back. It's okay, right? Me, I'm claiming that gil back that day because I want to get in on another lottery. But plots that are empty during the lottery period will be marked as unavailable and will become available for purchase during the next lottery period. So basically, you've got 5 days for buying, 4 days for resolving, 5 days for buying, 4 days for resolving. So as the plots get emptied, they will be available during the next lottery period. Makes sense, right? Here's some Q&A, and I highlighted a couple important ones. Can I apply for both private and free company plots separately during a single lottery period? I talked about this. 1, no. Free company or private, 1 lottery ticket, that's it. What happens if multiple free company members enter the lottery for multiple free company plots? You got to choose. Like if multiple people in your free company win multiple plots, you have to choose which one you want. I understand that only 1 entry per character per lottery is allowed, but is there any limit per account? The restriction that players may only purchase and maintain 1 private and 1 free company plot per world per service account remains unchanged. So 1, you get 1 ticket. Nothing has really changed as far as how many houses you can have. What if I already own a plot and want to relocate? As with new purchases, you will need to submit an entry into the lottery. Should you win, select the option to relocate. Easy peasy. All right, back to the regular patch notes here. We're out of the special housing site. Very excited about this lottery, though. I hope I win, and I hope you do too. Normal stuff here. Housing items have been added. Fish have been added. Orchestrion rolls have been added. New seeds have been added. Now there's new prizes for MGP. New triple triad cards. Hopefully for the MGP they actually add something new that's good. That would be sweet. This one's kind of important as far as new stuff. New Hrothgar and Vierra hairstyles have been added and different changes to Hrothgar facial stuff. So if you play Hrothgar or Vierra, it would probably be a good time to go to the esthetician and see what updates there are, what new hairstyles there are, what new facial feature changes there are. Just take a look, take a moment, take a look, see if there's a character style that you like better. All right, so in addition to new hairstyles for Vierra and Hrothgar, we've got something else very similar, and that's the addition of a duty support system. Okay, those two things aren't similar at all, but it's like trusts, but it's just random NPCs instead, and it's different than the other system. What was the other system called? I can't remember, having a brain fart. But now we've got that one, the trust, and the duty support system. So they're adding in a lot more ways to play this content solo, which I'm a little mixed on. I have mixed feelings on. I enjoyed meeting and making friends in the game, and I feel like sometimes you got to kind of push people in that direction to get them to interact with others. Otherwise, they'll just play the game solo. So anyway, you can access the duty support system from the duty entrance, just like a trust. And then there's also the trust menu system where you can get into all this as well. It's going to run very similar to how the trust does. And you can see there's about 30 different duties that are now supported by the duty support system. Scenario mode, which allowed players to progress through main scenario dungeons from 5.0 to 6.1 with NPC allies, has been incorporated into the duty support system. You may continue to challenge previously completed main scenario dungeons with a party of NPC avatars via the trust system. So those minions that you didn't get during those main scenario dungeons, go back and get those. This next one is pretty cool. The Unending Codex has been added. Basically, this is a compendium of vital information about in-game terminology and characters, which I feel like we desperately need because those cutscenes go by so fast and the lore is so quick. It would be nice to have like a journal, and it looks like that's what this is. It's unlocked as you progress through the main scenario, and in addition to just reading, kind of like the duty descriptions, that type of thing, you're going to have this journal that tells you about characters, and I think it's a cool thing for the folks who love the lore of this game. How completing the sightseeing log visually looks has been changed. You can see that on the screen there. And vistas will now be categorized by expansion. New emotes, that's normal. No job changes as far as skills, balancing. They feel like they've got it pretty balanced right now. There's been no job changes in that way. Some of the descriptions have changed, but no job ability changes. New dungeon, new trial, new all this stuff is normal. New alliance raid, the opportunity to upgrade gear, the crafted gear, and the Allegan Tombstone of Astronomy gear. All those gear upgrade opportunities have been added, which is normal for this patch cycle. The average item level for expert has gone up from 540 to 560. All right, the one big dungeon related change I wanted to talk about is the change to the main scenario quest dungeons, or the Praetorium specifically. The ultimate weapon has been pulled out and made its own trial. I was worried they were going to start cutting content so that new players going through it wouldn't get all of the cool content that we got that first time. So what they're doing instead is they're separating these things out. So La Habrea fight, Cape Westwind, and the ultimate weapon fights have been pulled out and have been made their own things, which is a very good idea. And now as you're going through your duty roulette for main scenario, instead of you getting that big, long Praetorium or whatever, you're going to get the different options. So maybe you'll end up in the trial. Maybe you'll end up in the dungeon, that type of thing. There's this new experimental feature that's come out. So it's going to affect, so far, Asphodelos and the Minstrel's Ballad and Singer's Aria, which is one of the new ones. When your party is wiped, so when you are just destroyed and all of your characters are lying on the ground dead because of some, I don't know, destruction magic, you're all there on the ground and you're like, ugh. And notice how I'm dragging this part out. And the reason I'm dragging this part out is because that's exactly how it'll be in the game. Now, instead of you get KO'd as a party, at least for these different duties, and you going back to restart, there's going to be a grace period to allow players to better identify what they did wrong. So you're all there on the ground and you're all dead and it's going to sit there and let you stare at your dead characters for a while so that you can better understand your failure. I don't know how this is going to work out. I think their heart's in the right place, but I think people are going to get sick of staring at their deadness to try to figure out what they did wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. This one I found interesting, and I'm going to need one of you to explain what this means to me. As a measure to prevent illicit activity, the timing of contact prohibition and escape prohibition in the Epic of Alexander Ultimate has been adjusted. Can someone please tell me what illicit activity has been happening during contact prohibition and escape prohibition in the Epic of Alexander? Is it like drug dealing going on? Is it like illegal gambling? There's other things I could say. Is it like ERP going on during this? Like what illicit activity is happening during contact prohibition and escape prohibition in Alexander Ultimate? Some adjustments have been made to Bozjan and Zadnor. The experience points you get for the battles in there, the big dungeons in there, has been increased. So both the Castrum in there and the Dalrida have been increased. What a great way already to level up your alt jobs. Now it's going to be an even better way to level up your alt jobs. PvP, some pretty big changes here. I'm going to try to be real concise with this. So, Feast, gone. Rival Wings, on hold so they can figure out the balance problems there that are apparently there. A new PvP 5-on-5 match has been added called Crystalline Conflict. It sounds kind of like protect and capture the flag, but instead of protect and capture the flag, it's protect and capture the crystal. There's going to be 3 different maps. 1, 2, 3. You can see them on the screen there. And again, 5-on-5, which I think will be a little better than 4-on-4 previously. The main character, the main NPC you're going to want to talk to about this is at the Wolves Den Pier at 5 by 6.4. It's Gungi. Go talk to Gungi or Jungi or Gungai, whatever it is. Go talk to that person and they will tell you all about how the Crystalline Conflict works. It looks like they put a ton of effort into it. What's really cool as I scroll through this and get through all of the details that Gungi will talk to you about, I get to the good stuff. The series Malmstones system provides unique rewards to players who participate in PvP during a given series period of time, lasting the duration of a patch. So from 6.1 to 6.2, that's going to be one series. And any of the PvP content you do will earn you experience during that series and increase your series level. You can increase your series level up to 30, and you can even accumulate experience after that, but the series maximum level is 30. And as you gain experience and you level up, you're going to get the opportunity to get some pretty cool custom awards. The new currency, Trophy Crystals, has been added as a series reward, and they can be exchanged at the Wolves Den Pier for a variety of items. Look at that gear. That looks sweet. The GARO gear is back. You can see it on the screen there. It's some pretty sweet gear, especially for the tankier classes. That like lion gear and stuff, that's sweet. And GARO Vanishing Line, as an aside, is a pretty cool anime. You can get these items either at Wolves Den Pier or at the Gold Saucer for MGP. New gear, new recipes, a bunch of changes to you can wear things regardless of gender, which I think is pretty cool. And then new ability to upgrade your crafted item level items from 580 to 590 has been added. That's pretty normal. Fishers will earn the greatest possible reward when submitting large size fish for custom delivery. So there's this move for fishers from, low quality, high quality to size of fish, which makes way more sense when you think of fishing. Glamours. So if you're into how your character looks, number one, Mirala did a great video about glamour plates. I'll link it in the description. Please take a look. Also, the maximum available glamour plates has been increased from 15 to 20, and glamour plates can now be used in sanctuaries. This is going to sound really bad, and I don't know if I'll include this or not. What's a sanctuary in the game? Like, what is that? Very important. Another ad, corgi minion and sunglasses. So if you've ever looked for orchestrion roles, mounts, or minions on the market board, they've always been buried in like the very end of the miscellaneous section. Now there's going to be its own section for items where you turn it into something else. So you'll get like a key that turns into a mount. You'll get an orchestrion role that turns into a song. Now, any of those types of things are going to have their own place on the market board. So if you're looking for those items, just know that. All right, so there have been some adjustments to retainers, obviously new ventures, new items, and you can now create comments for your retainers that only you can see. You see an example on the screen. This retainer holds my gear. This retainer holds my die, that type of thing. So you can label your retainers based on what you want to use them for or any other comment you want to make. This is my favorite retainer. There's this cool new adventurer plate. It's in beta right now. The 6.15 will see further improvements. The Adventure Plate interface allows you to create a personalized calling card that you can show and introduce yourself to other players, which is pretty cool. So you can see the example on there, but it's like a business card for your character, which is pretty cool. And you'll get to make portraits of your character. Capture the appearance of your Warrior of Light by customizing poses, movements, camera angles, backgrounds, framing, lighting, and more. You may save a variety of different portraits and select one to apply to your Venturer plate. Dreamfitting, a feature allowing your Warrior of Light to try on items from the online store, has been added. Smart move, Square Enix, to sell more stuff off the Mog Station. So by accessing the bed in any in-room and selecting Dreamfitting, you may try on products from the online store individually or buy set outfits. You may also use search for items subcommand while Dreamfitting. You may confirm effects of dyeing by accessing the enable dye preview. So you can see if it can be dyed, you can see what it looks like if you dye it, all this kind of stuff by going to the inn and clicking on the bed. An option to automatically target enemies when executing target-based attacks has been added. Players may choose to prioritize either line of sight or closest target. So a couple auto target changes here. I like tab targeting, but I also do have it set so that if I hit the Q, I know that's normally strafe, but if I hit the Q, it goes closest target. But a few different targeting options that have been added to the game in case you want to take a look at that. All right, this is a big quality of life change. Now, when you have NPCs accompanying you, normally if you would go to use the Aethernet or you would go to get on a mount, for some reason Grahatia would lose his mind and he'd be like, all right, I've never used an Aethernet before, even though I'm a magician and wizard and crystal exarch. I don't know how that works. I can't follow you through that. I'm going to go back over here to the hill. Well, now these NPCs will follow you through the Aethernet. They will follow you if you're riding a mount. They'll disappear visually, but they'll still be with you. So this is going to save a lot of time during those quests where you have NPCs with you. Pretty cool quality of life change. Another quality of life change I'm excited about is finally in the currency tab. Bicolor gemstones and the new trophy crystals for PvP are going to show up. Just a quick note for any mentors out there. Players who have not renewed their certification after the release of patch 6.0 will no longer be mentors. However, they may be recertified provided they meet the current certification requirements. So if you are a mentor, you will know what all this means. Just know that they're cutting it off at this point. If you spend 30 days in another world on another server, you're going to be booted back to your home world upon your next login. There's a new PlayStation option for graphics, and you can now change the draw quality to use low-level details for distant objects, which is good for performance. So I think that's a good add. So team, in my opinion, that's it. Those are the things you need to know about 6.1 patch notes. All the other stuff, I promise you, is just normal patch stuff. Those are the big important changes. So I hope you enjoy 6.1. If you're going to get involved in the lottery, I hope you win. I hope I win. and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, team.